our challenge, I think, again, here in the West, in the American church, well, in our society, right, everything is about the individual. And I think we have carried that over into the church, meaning, again, we go to church to be entertained. It's like, what can you do for us? And that typically tends to be our own selfish focus. We are saved for us and not realizing that we are actually saved for others and that we are called to evangelize. And so I think that makes it challenging, because that's why we're not seeing the result from the church universal, right? Because we're so focused on self, and we, our society, and especially in the climate that we're in now, is just a very uncivil and a very mean society. A lot of the things that are being done from a government and a political standpoint are spilling over into the church. And so we're seeing that same meanness, that mean-spiritedness, all of that. We're unfortunately letting the world influence the church more than the church influence the world. I know I said that on the show before. And we are seeing the result of that, where we just, we only care about ourselves. We only care about, our friends. And, part of being a Christian is really about transformation. Now, this is not judgmental at all, because I am a work in progress. Wholeheartedly admit it.
We are.
And we all are a work in progress.
It's amazing to me how much stuff I'm still learning at 61.
Exactly.
And about myself.
And one of the things, that is one of the challenges we have now in society, is that we have people that are very demonstrative and saying, this is it. This is how you do it. When, we have legislation where they want to put the 10 Commandments in schools, but they are not following the 10 Commandments. They are not following any other parts of the Bible about taking in the alien and treating them like you would treat your brother or sister. They're not following that. They have all of these things that, we want to continue to have. We have this romanticized view of us being a Christian nation, but we are not.
Right.
Our actions say we are not. And so that also speaks to maybe some of the church's ineffectiveness. And again, something I've said before is that what makes it challenging for the church is the Christians. That's why a lot of people have issue with the church, because of the Christians.
What makes what challenging for the church? So just to be
growth, having a maximum impact on society is because of what the non-Christian sees the Christian doing, the fighting that happens in the church, the different scandals and issues we have in the church, and people are like, well, I'm doing that over here. Why do I? And y'all are doing the same thing. So what is the difference? That is a problem, right?
So what you're saying is that wow, such an oxymoron. You're saying Christians are the ones at fault for Christianity not being more impactful in the world.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's not again, I'm not being judgmental, because I'm part of that. I don't always set the best example. I fully acknowledge that.
I have never seen anything but a perfect example from you, bro.
Well, not perfect. I try, but I have my days.
But I'm
and
waiting
my
to go to the
moments.
Cliff Club.
And see, that may prove to be one of those moments.
It'll
right?
be some Christians in there too.
I will give you some grace.
It'll be it'll probably be full of Christians.
Full of Christians man.
So we'll go on a Saturday night, right? And then Sunday we'll go to the neighborhood church and see who
we saw.
We saw.
Yeah.
Don't call no name.
Watch out now.
but
but I mean, it really is. We again, and that's there's challenges on both sides, because people also want to be quick to point out the flaws of the church, simply because the church has been so judgmental, but has done the same stuff.
But
you know what I mean?
But isn't judgment a foundational element of Christianity? I'm asking for understanding.
Well, the word is supposed to be the judge. not us.
Okay.
It's like, just think of it this way. A judge in a courtroom, he's interpreting the law and he's weighing the facts.
Right.
But he's not creating new laws as he sits there on the bench. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's judging you based on this is what this is what we know is legal.
Mm-hmm.
You chose to do this thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's all I can see if that's the case. So I don't know, man.
But that judgment has become so much a part of the quote unquote Christian identity, at least from an outside perspective. But we're taught not to judge others,
right.
lest ye be judged.
Lest
now,
ye be judged, but we also say on Judgment Day, right? We have,
but that's not us.
songs. About that, right?
Meaning you're right, but that's God as the judge.
Right.
We are not the judge.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so judgment is not wrong. It's just when it's being applied by the ones who don't have the right to judge.
Well, you can't judge nobody.
Right.
Right.
What's your basis for judging me? What is your
The only way I would do that is
qualifications?
if somehow I thought that what I did and thought was better than
Right,
what you. But
right.
that's
And
if you truly believe in God and you believe in understanding and wisdom and learning, you can't possibly get to that conclusion,
yeah.
Right.
right? Because you don't know everything. The only time I want to really know have I done everything right is when I'm sitting with God and He's saying, "Good, well done."
Yeah.
That's the only thing I care about.
And-
Maybe I don't care that much at this point in my life about what you. When I say you, I don't mean you
Yeah.
guys
Right,
in general.
right.
But what other folk walking around on earth on two legs are thinking about me. Yeah, it's impactful to me if it comes into the effect of my ability to make a living, my ability to develop relationships socially or personally. Yeah, that's impactful. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. I really don't care.
Yeah. And yeah.
Well, and but you think about it, our society is built on being judgmental. You talk about it, like you said, you were alluding to it in corporate America. That's why you get these performance appraisals. They're judging you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. We have these contests. We're being judged. And so we're very quick to judge people, even when we don't have all of the information or have full context.
Yeah.
That's where it's a challenge. And we do that in the church too. That's an issue. Yeah. So none of us has any reason to judge another, but we do.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to keep praying
And
and really work on our relationship with Christ, because the more you said this, Ken, the more you live, the more you experience life, the more you get into your word, you realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
yeah. And,
You thought you did, but you realize how
Right,
much you just do not know.
yeah.
Right.
And therefore you shouldn't judge anybody simply because of that. And realize, I think what I've realized, and I'm still growing, is that as righteous as I think I am not. And
Yeah.
I have no reason to claim or think I'm more righteous than someone else. Now, I will also throw this in. That is a big problem in our society. As a country, everything we do is righteous. Everything that another country do is not. And that ain't the case.
What does the word
We
say
have this
about it?
false sense of righteousness.
Easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle.
Yep. The
What is
rich
that
man
word?
to enter into the kingdom.
And I think the problem is with the church, we're spending too much time judging and not enough loving.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. That's
That's
the
a-
number one thing God has called us to do from the very beginning. Love me with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Just think if we just did that. Don't worry about speaking in tongues and homosexuality and all of that. Just love people and love God.
Is that 50 cents? Not cents, that innocence, that weight, that grace, that consequence. My scars, my faith, my documents. Is that 50 cents? Say it out loud in confidence. Every line a little evidence. I ain't done yet, I'm a testament. Talk shame, talk hell, talk fathers, talk fear.